Another best of 5, another Western team versus a Korean team, another spot in the playoffs on the line. In fact, the last spot in the playoffs, Fnatic versus Runaway. Who's going to take it?
And this one doesn't come down to map scores in any way, shape, or form. Whoever wins will leave Group D in second place. And we have a lot of changes from Runaway in the start of this match because Coma and Bumper, two players that were playing for them in come closer, my friend.
Centered there, yeah. It's,
have been playing in the promotion series, but we haven't seen them so far in the actual Apex matches proper. That means Runner is going away, Shine, their Ana player, is going away, at least for the time being. And this puts Cox, a very explosive and a player with a very large hero pool that has been quite impressive so far this season, on the Ana. And will he be able to make this transition smoothly? How is their teamwork going to be? Because this is a different team than the one we saw get flattened by Kongdu Panthera.
Well, I personally feel like it could be a big waste to put Cox on the Ana.
Yep.
Oh, God. Damn it. This is my life now. This is my life now.
Yeah, don't put Cox on Ana is I think what we're learning from this. That's what I'm learning, Noah. But
rated T for team.
But in any case, this is a big change for them. Stitch and Haksal will be the primary DPS player. Fnatic has not made any of these changes, but Fnatic was not very convincing in their last match. Did they win against FlashLux? Yes. Is FlashLux maybe the worst team in this tournament?
Should they have struggled against FlashLux?
Yeah, probably not.
I don't think so.
And it was a little bit too close for comfort.
Yeah. This one is impossible to call, though, really, because despite
we just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, despite Fnatic looking kind of off against FlashLux, Runaway's changed so much stuff, and even beyond the roster changes, when we saw them last time, they weren't playing that really dive-heavy Haksal Genji-centric style of play where we used to from them, and frankly, it looked a lot worse. So I don't know if these changes mean they want to go back towards that, but just a lot of unknowns going to this best of 5, which is kind of shocking considering it's the very last match in the group stages. We should kind of know by now, but these last-minute changes, man, who knows?
Obviously, they're much more confident in this lineup. I was surprised at the start of this season to see Coma removed and Runner start to play on stage. That was a shock to start things off. Now, Bumper, when we saw them really prioritizing 3 DPS compositions, made, I think, a little bit more sense. And you have Shine, their dedicated Ana player. But now they've got the 2 tanks back in. And Cox has been making a lot of the plays on the side of Runaway, at least in their first match against FlashLux, and they have been really reliant on his ability to flex. So does this mean that they're going to run with triple DPS and single support at times? That's a possibility. I mean, I don't think that's a very strong composition, but
I mean, at the
it
end
could
of the day,
happen.
We just don't know. That's the weird thing about Runaway, is that Runaway has been such a team of unknowns all season long. They came into this season with some new faces that have worked out pretty well in their first match. In their second match, it looked like things all fell apart almost completely. Now the third match comes in, more roster changes, position roles being changed on the existing roster that's still there. So who knows? Who knows? But either way, if they win, they're in the playoffs. If they lose, they're out. Same for Fnatic.
And I sound like a broken record from Fnatic, but we still haven't seen a star player really step up and take over the game.
Right.
Ever since they lost IDDQD, they've lacked that clutch situational play that can really push you over the top, and I think that's hurt them. And they've also struggled. I mean, Rascal tore them apart when they faced Kongdu Panthera, and you have to be worried that players of Stitch and Cox and Haksal's caliber are going to maybe be able to individually carry their way over the top of Fnatic that relies more on their team play rather than their ability to create the big outplay.
Right. I mean, Fnatic has played a lot of triple tank. They played a lot of 2-2-2. It's just been very standard. They've just been very, vanilla. It's good, but you need that extra flavor.
역시 학살 겐지는 영불 호전이네요.
기량 차이로 완전 상대 팀을 부셔버렸어요.
I think Runaway is a very good team. They have a very good play style. They play a lot of Genji, and it's all about countering Haksal for us to take that win.
모든 면에서 프나틱은 뭔가 새로운 이런 상대 전략에 힘을 아예 못 쓰고 있는 거죠.
그럼요.
아직은 뭔가 팀원들끼리의 시너지가 잘 나오진 않고 있습니다.
프나틱이 지금 초청된 해외 팀 중에 하위권 아닐까 생각합니다. 좀 단단한 조합을 쓰는 걸로 알고 있는데 저희가 픽을 빨리빨리 바꾸는 게 장점이라 잘 대처하면 이길 수 있을 것 같습니다.
Not many people in North America play dive comp, so we're just going to keep practicing and hopefully we get better against that comp.
아, 근데 푸나틱 몰라서 진짜 누가 있는지도 잘 몰라가지고 관심이 없어서.
One of the counters to Tracer Genji, I think, is Tracer Genji itself. So I think that with Happycool on Genji and me on Tracer, I think maybe we can just outplay them and hopefully we'll take the win that way.
푸나틱 분들 집이 많이 그리우시죠? 저희가 빨리 이겨서 집으로 보내드리겠습니다.
Well, I've been in Korea for almost a month now, so I'm starting to feel like this is my new home. So maybe I'll stay here till quarterfinals.
무조건 잡고 8강 가겠습니다.
Well, it's a battle of politeness between Fnatic and Runaway. You're tired, you want to go home? Like, no, I love Korea so much. I just want to stay. Well, we'll see who ends up being the most polite in this best of 5, Fnatic versus Runaway. But, you know, I mean, Stitch had some points, right? It was like you were saying, Monte Cristo, Fnatic has yet to really kind of develop that star player since IDDQD left the team. And they're good as a team, but they just need a way to handle the superstars like Hawksall that they run into.
I really am now skeptical of Fnatic. If their game plan is to outplay Tracer Genji with Tracer Genji when they're up against Hawksall, I think they're in for a rude awakening. I hope they've got something else than that. I think Fnatic at their brightest has been with Happycool playing Pharah. He's had some pretty good plays on that particular hero, but Happycool's ability to play Genji to the same level of Hawksall, I think, really does have to be called into question. But Runaway, they haven't had the same tight teamwork that Fnatic has, and Fnatic, they need to rely on their positioning and Vonethel's shot calling if they're going to take a win here today.
Yeah. We'll find out as we soon move on to our first control map. Koma, of course, as you can see, back in on support after Runner is deciding to bench himself for this one.
He's a famous streamer, guys. So
He's kind of the leader of the team, really. Yeah. So
it was sort of weird to see him in the booth for the first 2 matches to begin with. Certainly, he's been working very hard on getting himself up to a pro level, but that hasn't been what he's been known for in his life, and now he will be taking a backseat to Koma, just as he did during their promotion matches.
Well, we'll see if this roster shuffling has any positive effect because, you know, stylistically they look different and not so great in their last match against Kongdu Panthera, but there were also some pretty large individual errors as well, like Hawksall just kind of standing on the roof on Hanamura as Mei and getting sniped early on in that map. I mean, there were a lot of issues with the last best of 5.
Yeah, that was some very weird positioning because he was standing on top of the pagoda instead of next to the doorway where you typically see Mei's attempt to wall off members of the enemy team as they walk through the primary gate.
Yeah. I mean, in the last, they lost 0-3 to Kongdu Panthera. They only got a single point on Nepal, and that was it. It was about as one-sided as it gets.
Kongdu Panthera definitely a potential tournament favorite, however, as we see.
Oh, absolutely.
No most picks for Bumper and Koma as they have not played in Apex proper to this point.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Fnatic, you can see running meta compositions with that Genji and Tracer on their own, just not as successful as many of the other teams that we have seen rely on that pairing.
It's hard to be as good at Genji as Hawksall.
It's also different because they're not running a Zarya to really protect the dive composition or a Winston to go along with them. So it is a bit more awkward, but Cool Matt more comfortable on the Roadhog pick.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, it's kind of come down to this, right? One best of 5 to decide who goes to the playoffs. The destiny is completely in the hands of each of these teams, whether or not they're able to make it on. But I just don't know. I mean, normally when we have a match like this, we've got a lot more to say because there's all this history with the teams to talk about and all that. But with all the changes on Runaway,
yeah, 1/3 of the team is new, and that changes everything. It will be a Oasis for our first map in this last best of 5 of the group stages.
Yep. Oh, also, we don't know about these changes until we get to the studio, too. So it's not like we knew this and had time to prepare. We just showed up and we're like, oh, Oh, but half their team is different. All
Well,
right.
that comes with the territory, though, because if you have
Sure, yeah.
substitutes, you're allowed to use them, and you don't want to give your opponents potential time to prepare for them if you have that resource available. So nobody knew outside of OGN itself that these changes were going to be coming through,
Life is so hard, Monte Cristo.
including Fnatic. So they may have prepared for something entirely different.
Well, we'll go to Aces and see who can take the early lead. Fnatic versus Runaway, a spot for the playoffs on the line. Let's get in the game and see who takes it. All right, welcome to Oasis. There's not a lot of water, though, that I've seen. Mostly just buildings.
They should flaunt their wealth more wastefully by putting a bunch of fountains. So
Yeah, there you go. Well, you see, in the future, those would be pure, clean water fountains, and you could actually just drink from them.
Yeah, well, that's how it worked in a lot of ancient cities, too.
Well, there you go.
Drinking from the fountains.
Bring
like
it
in
back.
Rome. Bring back.
Bring it back, that's what I say.
Actually, there are a lot of drinking fountains in the world, though.
Well, you know, none of them really look as good as they used to, you know?
There's Runner,
Yep. Oh, hi.
sitting on the stairs right now, watching his team play. He's just right in the aisle. He's a fire hazard, Doa.
Well, we'll just have to trample him if things go poorly. Keep that in mind. Hawks on the Genji, of course. Koma playing the Lucio this time around, and indeed, we do have Cox on Ana.
As expected, and now Buds will be taking the McCree. Early hook by Cool McAvoy to bring the Reinhardt in, but there's no follow-up damage, and that's a nice grenade on the side, and Vonethel goes down. Great biotic grenade, and everybody was clumped up inside the choke point on the left-hand side.
And Hawksall knew the opportunities were coming in. Meanwhile, Stitch gets a hook onto Cool Matt. Roadhog v Roadhog, and Runaway should be able to claim the point early on. The crowd's really into this one.
Big fan base here for Runner, and by proxy for Runaway, his team. And if you're worried about this as a Fnatic fan, this is the one you expect Runaway to take for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Again, the Western team's weaker on these control maps for the most part, and a lot of the Korean teams very good at taking these initial maps. And there's a hook onto Custa, will thread the needle of the Reinhardt shield on the high ground, so an instant pick. And Fnatic's gonna have to give this one up again.
Oh, Bud's winning the duel with Stitch there. And meanwhile, the rest of Fnatic using the opportunity to charge in and try to make something happen, but Runaway all too ready.
Yeah, two members just chasing Buds down at the end of that fight.
Yep.
That's all popping back up onto the point. 40% complete. And they've got a Nano Blade ready for this next assault. Vonethil still a long way away from having a sound barrier in order to deal with that. They're going to have to hope for a nice flashbang or hook if they want to shut this ult combo down.
Yep. Cox has Nano Boost ready to go now. And he's going to boost Hawksall. Hawksall going in immediately grabbing that kill onto Vonethil. Pushed back by the Hog now, still finds the kill onto Custa anyway. That's successful, I would say. Meanwhile, Kumak gets a hook. Oh, but counter-hooked instead by Stitch, and Runaway up to about 70 control % built up already here on University.
I think that's really wasteful from Fnatic. They should have just waited to use their ultimates there. They knew that that combo was ready, and the whole Hog with the Nano Boost just not going to have anywhere near as much value as the Nano Blade. If you get that out, then maybe you can push with it on another attempt. But as it stands now, Bumper's going right in.
Yeah, that's right. They're going to try to combo it. Oh, Kumat grabs the hook onto Stitch. A little bit of revenge there as Fnatic actually coming out on top of that one. Charge comes in, though. Stoop not being pinned by it. Looks like Fnatic has a golden opportunity to retake this one right at the last moment.
Yeah, time nearly ticking up to 99. Sits at 98%.
Yep.
And now they're playing aggressively, trying to get these picks, but he can't get behind the Reinhardt shield in time. Pullback going to get hit by the grenade. Hey, buddy, that doesn't work. When you have the biotic grenade on you, and he will fall, not positioned well behind Stoop's shield.
And Fnatic just using that sound barrier to try to hold this off. 5v6. Bud's looking for another shot on Nakoma.
Misses the flashbang.
Yeah, in a lot of trouble. Goes down. Runaway. Looks like they're going to be retaking this point. Maybe. Well, maybe not. Graviton Surge comes in. But Bumper does live on the Zarya for the moment. Hoffical very low, finally goes down. Koma actually getting a couple kills for the bloodthirsty support in all of us. And Runaway already with the OT as they've taken the point back, and they will take University.
Yeah. Pretty easy from Runaway. Fnatic a little bit over-aggressive in their use of their ultimates, but what can you do? Time was ticking down, and they felt they had to go, even though they could have had another push. Then does set you back pretty far in that control percent. But for the most part, the shutdowns, the crucial shutdowns not coming through, and Fnatic, I think they're positioning around some of those hooks. They got hooked a couple times when they really shouldn't have.
It was really a constant hook battle between Stitch and Haffercool, but I think, or Coolmat69. But at the end, it really just seemed like DPS versus DPS. Runaway came out ahead.
You are not prepared. Sprays coming through. We are on the tournament realm now,
Oh,
excitingly enough.
Tournament realm means we've got emotes, we've got voice lines, but
no skins.
no skins yet.
No skins.
Maybe later, we'll see. Either way, it's much more stable, so it's a happy occasion, that's for sure.
Glad to see the Pharah. She's really strong.
Oh, yeah.
On this point, there's so much verticality, and the early kills picked up very early on. I think when we've seen the most effective teams play on Oasis, especially on this point, it has been a lot of wins. It has been a lot of Genji and Pharah.
Yeah. Well, as is, Fnatic is going to very convincingly win that early fight for control of the point, and they're going to get their control percent building here on Gardens.
Stitch on Pharah, immediate swap over.
Yeah.
Have to be able to combat and try and win that aerial battle.
Yeah, now Cox on Mercy. So they are going to go for their own pharmacy.
All right, but no real walls to try and get splash damage off of here. And Hoxall going to pick up Bonathil, however.
Yeah, good start for Runaway. And meanwhile, Stitch takes on Buds. They are just going to beat Fnatic at their own game with this comp, I guess.
Back off now. See if you can just use your ult charge to retake the point on the next attack. You got 30%.
Hoxall
pretty good job.
Coolmat69 goes down.
Goodbye.
That's that.
Falling off the edge of the map there. Hofficool will join him. And Fnatic will lose control of this point, but gets a few percent on it. Hofficool will be coming back with the barrage if he has a good opportunity to use it. There is not a lot of damage to pluck him out of the sky during that barrage besides Stitch himself. So if you can eliminate Stitch early, a lot of that threat will be gone.
Hoxall may be able to save some reflect or something like that. Let's see.
Bonathil getting picked off on the side. Bonathil now getting picked off twice in a row.
Yeah, this is a problem.
And Mercy just used res? Custa used the res while he was on his way down. And that's actually going to pay off. So he was falling to his death, but managed to pull off the res as he jumped off the edge. Gonna get back up now. The help of Stoop, who joins him on the side just to be able to give him a target to flutter back to.
Runaway hasn't given over the point just yet, but shouldn't take long now. Control percent building. They still have to deal with Coma. There's a res for Cox, though. That could be a pretty good one.
Only got one.
Cox brings him back up again, and Runaway trying to fight it. That's Stoop. Yeah, I think Fnatic still in a good position to hold this.
But they did burn a lot of time.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, about 30.
Hafficool still there.
So.
Self-destruct used. You see, Hafficool actually successfully raked by the Winston with the Tesla cannon on the jump. So in the end, this may finally go over to Runaway as the kills can't quite come through, and that one-man res was just enough from Cox, who will switch over to the Ana.
Yeah, well, seeing a great DPS player like Cox play Mercy was kind of hurting me deep inside for a little while, so now I'm glad to see him back, and at least.
All right, Fnatic can last this one out for quite a bit of time, especially since they have a res available.
It's not very for Fnatic, because they really want to win this one. They need to. It's 99%. Runaway on the verge of taking Oasis 2-0. Fnatic getting the early kills there. Stoop camped out on the point. Looks like they might just barely have enough, but Kaiser coming back in on that Winston. Not a lot of health remaining. Gonna go ahead and use the Primal Rage. Just try to delay. Try to give his team time to come back.
It's about all he can hope for right now.
Yep.
He is going to fall. There's the point, flipping sides. Custa died before he could use res. So Fnatic in a great spot. Yes, they're down 33%, but hey, you've got 5 ultimates. The Soundberry, the only thing that you used. After those initial kills, they had the discipline to hold on to everything else. And now Runaway coming in with 0 ult. Certainly a lot of time to build them back up, but we may be going to a 99-99 situation here unless Fnatic makes a titanic error.
Certainly possible that we go to 99-99. See if Fnatic can hold it. Hanging on the high ground. Self-destruct used by Runaway early on there. Stoop does kill Bumper in the meanwhile, and Fnatic getting the early kills despite Hoxall taking out Vondathil and Buds.
Yeah, Custa did use res right there. Not sure that was necessary, actually, because the D.Va was not able to resuit on the side of Runaway, was killed beforehand by Stoop. So they do commit the resurrection. They may have wanted that later on, but Runaway still sitting with very few ultimates, although the Nano Blade is up. Hoxall has been excellent with that, and it's going to have to be a big shutdown here from Fnatic.
Yep. Waiting for it. Go on the outside. There's the Dragon Blade pulled out. Runaway immediately drops the Sunbears. Oh, Hoxall with the kill on Vondathil takes on Buds as well. This is Hoxall, ladies and gentlemen. Runaway crushing this fight. Kaiser with the nano boost this time, though. So they split up the danger. They gave the nano boost to Kaiser. They let Hoxall do his thing with the Dragon Blade, and that is going to be an OT ticking away, and Runaway, oh, maybe not. Fnatic trying to get back
got
onto
a
the
kill on
point.
the Hoxall, actually, but can they get there? Bud's holding on as long as he can, but the kills keep coming in.
Yeah, Runaway surprised, but not surprised enough to drop this point. That is it, and Runaway will take Oasis 2-0.
That's one of those times, Doa, where if Custa had the res at the end, because he lived longer than anybody else, if he hadn't committed to it,
Right.
maybe there was a chance there that Fnatic would have been able to maintain control of that point and make sure that they were not 0-2'd on Oasis. But not going to happen there. These little mistakes or little changes in the game can really make a huge amount of difference. But nice play from Runaway. We expected them to take control. And now Fnatic has the chance to pick the hybrid map, which should be much more in their wheelhouse when it comes to their playstyle.
Yeah. Well, they certainly made it look competitive on Gardens there. Winning that early fight pretty convincingly. Holding it nearly towards the end. But yet, it's pretty down faces in the Fnatic booth. It's only the first map.
Yeah, and especially they had to believe that was their long shot map. Everything else will be much more comfortable, except for maybe Assault.
I was going to say, Assault
they haven't won an Assault map, but at the same time, Runaway has not been spectacular on Assault either, so I'm not sure that's the biggest deal in the world. Hollywood will be the selection.
Yeah, Runaway is coming into this one 1-1 on all the map types they've played, which are only the first 3 because it was a 3-0 and then it was no 3 for them. See what they can do on Hollywood. As Fnatic has chosen that one to try to tie the series up in the second map. But I would say right now, if you're Runaway, you're maybe feeling pretty confident, at least in your ability to out-scrap Fnatic.
I don't know, man. Runaway's been a coin flip. Like, they've been 50% on all map types in this tournament, and they've gotten 3-0'd and 0-3'd. So it's definitely not the end of the match for them by a long shot. There's still a lot of time for Fnatic to come back.
We'll see if they can. Time to go to Hollywood and see if Fnatic can tie it up.
Get it?
Don't walk, float. That's what the future is. Floating cars, floating Pharaohs with rocket launchers.
More people should be able to float. I'm not sure why Farah's the only one who gets to have jump jets in a rocket suit.
Yeah, you think if
just put Widowmaker in that thing, man.
Exactly. You think if that existed, everybody would be using it, right? Why does only Farah get it? Quit monopolizing the.
Oh man, Ana would be amazing with jump jets too.
Jeez. Everyone would be. Reinhardt flying at you.
Oh, there's Reinforce.
Yeah.
He's here to give you finger hearts and to not be in the group draw, unfortunately enough, for Misfits. Now, Runaway is going to be running the Symmetra. That has been the Symmetra and Torbjorn have been enjoyed by Fnatic, and I think that it would be a smart idea for them to continue to use those heroes on the Assault and Hybrid maps today, because it is good, yeah, we're going to see a swap, but it is good for Fnatic when they're on defense. It is effective against dive compositions to have those static defenses, right?
Well, Koma did something kind of cute on the Symmetra there. He tried to throw the shield towards the spawn door. He failed at it, but the idea was hit the door with the shield and then swap and make your opponent confused. But better luck next time, Koma.
Instead, back to the Lucio, Runaway with the McCree, anticipating the possibility of a Pharah from Hafacool. But Hafacool will be playing the Zarya this time, and it will be triple tank with Buds on the Soldier, standard can be.
Fnatic exited the right door to try to avoid that long-range biotic grenade that you see come down in the front door a lot of times.
Yeah.
So playing it smart as they run to the point right now. They took the high ground, so they've got that. Cool man sneaking around the side.
Runaway not on the high ground at all, actually in Cafe. It's giving a lot of time for the flank to develop from Fnatic and for Coolmat to start really fishing for hooks.
Oxall did knock them down, so Fnatic on the low ground now. There's a hook. Gets broken though, yeah. Coolmat has to back away. Meanwhile, Buds trying to build up that ultimate.
Finally, they get the McCree up there, but everybody else has been pushed off the point, so Fnatic gets a few pixels on that cap.
Stitch got Coolmat though, so they are fighting short-handed, yeah, and Bumper brings another one in on the Hafacool, so that's the end of that push. Goodbye, Stitch. So Buds does get one kill. They're still fighting it out, but Runaway seems to have, I was going to say the defense for now. Although, I mean, Gusto was kind of trapped behind enemy lines there, so either way, it was going to be a long reset.
Yeah, he wasn't going to get out of that situation, and Bud's dying there as well doesn't really help. And actually, that's a huge pick. Kaiser got hooked by going too far out by himself. What was he doing?
I'm not sure, but Fnatic can try to capitalize on that. Oh, but there's a nano boost, though. They're going to try to use it with the Graviton Surge. Sound Barrier popped as well. Stitch not finding anyone, but now the Tac Visor coming in for Buds. He's got his nano boost as well. Looking for the kill into Stitch as he walks up the stairs there. So Fnatic just trying to capitalize on this power play, essentially, but Runaway holds strong.
Man, that should have been such a good play for Fnatic, and they couldn't capitalize on it. You are very rarely at the professional level able to get gimme picks like that. And even though they had the nano boost and the attack visor, the counterplay from Bumper jumping in with the Graviton and Kaiser, he's being sneaky. Are they going to catch this? Are they going to check the corner?
They're not going to. I've seen this one before. Big Earthshatter comes in. Kaiser with a kill on Acosta immediately. It wasn't the massive six-man Earthshatter we've seen in the past, but it was more than enough to take Fnatic down with this push.
That was so cocky from Kaiser to push that far forward again, too. Especially the Roadhog's still there, but figured he got enough kills. And we've seen a lot of teams fall for that on maps like Hollywood. And you have to check that corner. Do you see the Reinhardt? Yes, no. If you do not see Reinhardt, you must check that corner.
Oh, yeah. Fnatic up on the high ground again. Runaway just seems to let him up there, and that's because they're going to drop the Graviton Surge along with the Deadeye. Reinhardt shield. Can they turn it? Nice hook! Nice hook from Coolmat just in time. That perhaps saved the fight. They're going to drop their own Graviton Surge here as Fnatic getting the control percent building now. Another kill comes in, and Fnatic, wow, really turning a scary situation around there.
And you see both of these teams struggling in this game. Sometimes Runaway dealing with some positional errors that have allowed Coolmat to get hooks, but the setups have been deliberate from Fnatic to get those hooks in the first place, and playing a very methodical style and opening opportunities for them to land. So they are going to get point A. No worries for a full hold right now as the limousine floats forward into Westworld.
Stoop onto the Winston now just to help control that high ground a little bit better. Hafacool swapping over to the not Zenyatta, I wish, to the Genji.
Yeah, and the Diva coming out too for Fnatic. Not wanting to mess around with trying to get Roadhog on the high ground, and instead they're just going to attack immediately.
Well, Runaway is just going to jump down to the payload, I guess.
Well, that's what you do. I mean, you see three people up there. They're not going to have very many members of the team on the low ground to push.
Cool. Nano boost. Buds gets his own nano boost, very low, but he manages to stay alive and back off, just not getting a lot of value out of that. Meanwhile, Runaway winning this fight. Hafacool comes back with one kill onto Coma. And Hoxall, the rest of his team, fighting elsewhere. Eventually, Fnatic has to back away, though.
They were read really well. Runaway doesn't try and contest the high ground, instead goes down to the payload, say, okay, you could be up there, but you're not actually going to be moving forward at the same time. And the picks come through. Nice pin onto the nano-boosted tack visor.
Another big Earth Shatter comes in. Where's the capitalizing? Bud's just trying to keep his team alive by killing the opponents here. Runaway backing off. Fnatic may have an opportunity here after Kaiser goes down. Half-a-cool with the Dragon Blade looking for targets. Not finding a whole lot. Gotta avoid that self-destruct, but a little bit too late when he's already dead. It's like another one fight for Runaway. I don't know if you need that tack visor here. That fight was already won.
Well, it's
But
a
you can
pretty
really win
big
it now.
split spawn to get out at the very end of the fight, even though they did have 6 members up. I'm really confused by a lot of the value that Fnatic is getting out of their ultimates. I mean, you see them using them, but they tend to go even in a lot of fights where Runaway is able to conserve many more ults. And the efficiency just hasn't been there for Fnatic. Fullback getting close to a self-destruct, should be able to give them at least a decent push, but 55 seconds left and they have not made it through Westworld very far. Vonethel will get the beat dropped.
Yep, Fnatic just trying to push as much as they can against this nano-boosted Diva. Kind of tough to deal with Hoxall, though. This has been his primary other pick, but might be able to get the kill. Yeah, Cox went down really fast, and now Bud's looking for a little bit more. And it looks like Fnatic's got a pretty good fight here. Yeah, nice Helix Rockets onto Bumper at the end. Hoxall popped out of the suit, and that is going to be a really good fight for Fnatic.
Patience there, the key for Fnatic. The nano boost from Runaway was effectively wasted on the Diva, onto Hoxall. He didn't get anything at all done. Half-a-cool lurking with a Dragon Blade. He's taking a peek at that doorway. He's going to wait and see what he can get.
Half-a-cool trying to get in the back lines. Takes out Cox. And that's going to be about it. Fnatic, though, may have enough to get to point B. We'll see. They're all piling onto the payload right now, and Fnatic is a little bit scattered here.
Pull very low.
Now Stitch coming in with the tack visor. Push back, though, by the Winston. Wilmat 69 alone on the Diva. Not going to last too long. Meanwhile, Hoxall actually gets one to Custer with the self-destruct. That's kind of surprising, and Runaway going to run away with this team fight. And that's overtime. Runaway going to actually hold Fnatic to just 1 point on Hollywood.
I'm really surprised. Fnatic committed quite hard to the Dragon Blade when they didn't have full information of who was in the studio. And he tried to get through, but the Zarya bubble was there to protect the Zarya from Runaway, and he can't actually pick up the kills to prevent them from flooding onto the limousine.
And Hoxall on that Diva, I gotta say, doing a really good job of disrupting Fnatic's attempts to control the high ground, just kind of keeping everything scattered.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You got to get more than the Ana in that situation. You can do your best Lorena Bobbitt impression and start slicing cocks, but...
Jeez. We're not even trying anymore, are we? Well, the cocks are out now. This is how it goes.
Got to get more than that, right?
Sure.
As they say.
As they say.
Did you enjoy my simile, Doa?
I did. I did. It was filled with 90s flair.
Nobody even knows what that reference is.
Nope, they don't. They can Google it. Just don't image search it. Vonethel on the Torbjorn this time around as Fnatic takes the defense, and they really have to full hold.
This is really common for Fnatic, though. And I do, as I said, I do think that these static defenses serve them well against Runaway. If you think that the dive composition is coming, you can bait the Tracer or the Genji into nests of Symmetra turrets or into a Torbjorn turret, get some easier kills that way.
Sure. Well, Runaway, all they need to do is push the payload nearly to the end of point B. Going for some picks, perhaps, with Stitch on the Widowmaker. Hoxall, of course, going to be on that Genji as usual. Okay. Avoiding the incoming damage, and let's see what Stitch can do.
They will have the Widowmaker this time. I think they are in.
Okay. Pick on the Cuss early on. Well, that is devastating for Fnatic.
Cussa knew that was coming too. He could have fallen down there after the first shot. Didn't manage to make it in time, but Fnatic holding strong. Or looks like it's actually falling apart now as Hoxall manages to zoom in. And they'll get the kill on the Buds. And this has been the problem with Fnatic is they don't have an answer to strong DPS players on the enemy team. They get picked apart by individual skill. And that's what we're seeing as Stitch is just going to massacre everybody. Even though that's Hoxall's name, or what it means. massacre. It will be.
That's right.
It will be Stitch who deals a lot of those final blows, and that is a very fast first push point A capture, and now 5.5 minutes to get through Westworld. Huxall, what are you doing there, buddy?
He's just getting grabbed, you know, like you do. Sometimes you get a little bit over-aggressive with the Genji, and you find the Roadhog hook.
Start bouncing around like an idiot too far in front of your team.
Yep. We've seen this afflict other Genjis in the league. Oh, Cox does take down Cool Matt. Buds. Ooh, that was very, very close. Stitch has been really playing well so far in this Widowmaker.
Playing well so far in the season of Apex, Noah.
Yeah. Well, you know, Runaway, they had Huxall. They came in this season. All right, well, there's Huxall doing his Huxall thing. Runaway bulldozing. I may not even get time to make my point as this payload is moving fast. But what I was going to say is that they came in, you know, they had Huxall before. Now they've come in, they've added Stitch, they've added Cox, two great DPS players, and yeah, even though Cox is playing a support now, he's still that threat. He's not as much of one.
Yeah, this is really rough. The payload has basically not been stopped at all in Westworld, and there's going to have to be a truly epic hold from Fnatic at an ult disadvantage, and now here comes Huxall. Nice Earth Shatter, though.
All right. He lives somehow with that, gets back to the health pack.
Doesn't matter, they focus him a lot, and the kills keep coming through for Runaway.
Nobody can handle Stitch. That's the problem right now. Half a cool, well, nothing going on with that Pulse Bomb, and that is it. Fnatic gets slaughtered on Hollywood.
That was their map too, Noah.
Yeah, it was.
And Runaway taking it home seemingly with ease. We just didn't see any contest on the Widowmaker. You gotta switch up your composition and try and get the dive back there to prevent her from being effective. Virtually no pressure on Stitch, even through... Okay, the first point is, whatever, right? You don't expect the Widowmaker. I do think Custa could have made an attempt to fall off that platform. He was in plain sight. He must have seen the first Widowmaker shot, so I do think he had a split second to drop. And instead was sniped out.
There's always that temptation to try to fight the sniper duel with Widowmaker, but at the pro level, I think that's pretty tough to make work.
He got hit by the first shot, though. That was the problem. So you gotta make an adjustment.
Yeah. Well, dire straits for Fnatic as we head towards our quick commercial break. If they do not win the next map, if they can't win the assault map, they are going home, and Runaway will be moving on.
Runner in the booth right now for a pep talk rather with his team. During our break, the teams do have an opportunity to meet with their managers and coaches.
Yep. So we'll take a break, guys, and while we do that, go ahead and grab a snack, get ready, because it's the last stand for Fnatic coming up in our next map here on Apex Season 2. If they don't win it, we could only have one team from the West going through to the quarterfinals.
It's pretty rough stuff, though. Pretty rough stuff for global fans, for sure.
Yeah. Well, their destiny is still in their hands. Fnatic could bring it back. Don't go anywhere. Find out if they do right after this. Welcome back to Overwatch Apex Season 2. Fnatic in dire straits against Runaway right now, down 2 games to nothing. And if they don't win this next map, if they can't pull it together a bit more on Assault, it is all over.
Yeah, and they've only taken 1 point across those 2 maps so far. Also, even though they did select Hollywood themselves, got basically destroyed on that map.
Very one-sided.
Very one-sided. No answer to the Widowmaker from Stitch, and the clean play from Runaway, making them look like a favorite. And I think that's surprising coming into tonight. A lot of people, and myself included, would have thought, hey, probably Fnatic has the better shot of winning compared to the 2 Western teams, but Cloud9 really pushed Kongduonsi a lot harder than we would have expected, and Fnatic is crumbling at the moment.
Certainly are. They're going to choose between Volskaya Industries and Hanamura, though, for our 3rd map. And it's going to be the map
I pick Hanamura, but
Fnatic won't.
They're going to pick Volskaya. I think what we saw from Runaway last time was incredibly poor play on Hanamura, and I think I would have preferred to try and exploit them on that map, but instead Volskaya will be the selection. Fnatic must reverse sweep now, which, given the caliber of their play that we've seen in the first 2 maps, they are going to have to dig extremely deep to accomplish that feat.
Yeah. It's not impossible, but at this point it's looking quite unlikely.
They got to go Super Saiyan now with their back against the
no
wall.
kidding.
And I just don't even know if their power level is high enough to hit that Super Saiyan level, Doa.
Man, at this point, I don't think you need to pull out the Scouter. I think Fnatic is going to need to prove something pretty amazing if they're going to stay alive in this series. Let's get to Volskaya Industries and see if they can do it. Welcome to Volskaya Industries, a map that will always be remembered for its 6 diva pushes early on in Overwatch's life. Ah, yes, that's right. Everyone flyer on the left side and then laugh at the noob that doesn't make it, and then still take the point with 5 divas.
You know, going back to the analogy with Dragon Ball Z, I feel like, you know how you have to have a certain power level to be able to go Super Saiyan in the first place? And
sure.
There are those hard carries like Goku in Dragon Ball Z. I feel like Fnatic is one of those side characters that's mostly used for cheering on the team.
They're like Krillin, basically?
Yeah, they're basically, Fnatic is like the Krillin of Overwatch.
Like most of the storyline is just like trying to find a way to bring Krillin back from dying again.
Yep, and they're mostly there as cheerleaders for the player or the teams or the characters with higher power levels.
Sure.
I feel like that's where Fnatic is right now.
You know, and if people think Krillin is a big insult, we could have said they're Yamcha, so so you should really count your blessings, I think. Yeah, because Krillin does do cool stuff once in a while, you know? They're not quite, what was that guy with like the 3rd eye?
I forget his name.
I can't remember his name either. Oh well. Either way, at least they're not Yamcha. I'd take Krillin over Yamcha any day.
Flashlex is Yamcha.
That's absolutely right, yeah. All right, well, Fnatic on the attack once more. Going for the 2-2-2 this time with Hafakul on the McCree. Trying to defend the 2-2-2 from Runaway. And Hafakul, going to take a nap. Ooh, turning it around, though.
But
Somebody
can't
woke
get
him
the
up.
kill. Everybody just stacking
Man.
into the upper hallway, bouncing packs. So Fan the Hammer comes down, but kill not successful. And now it's easy for Runaway just to turn their attention over to the flank because they caught McCree out 3 versus 1 before Fnatic could establish themselves, but a nice hook.
Not finishing off Cox, too, is a big problem. You got to get the Ana out of the way. Gusta with 1. Fnatic not able to quite capitalize. Oh, Bubs Bud's very low, rather.
And they're not dropping onto the low ground very quickly. They're looking for that poke damage, even though they had that early pick advantage.
Yeah, you'd think they would have tried when they had the 6v5, but not yet. Either way, Fnatic getting the kills now. Hoxall's going to have to do something. No, he's not going to be able to bring it back. He had the Dragon Blade, but wasn't able to use it. Looks like Fnatic will be able to probably take point A here if they can deal with the supports, but that shouldn't be too tough. Nope.
So easy take on point A. Held there for a while. Their first push unsuccessful because they couldn't set up the flank in time, but they managed to make it work in the end. And eventually we will get up to that full cap of point A, but Runaway, they didn't use much at all. Stitch over onto the Roadhog now. They will have plenty on the defense, not a tangible ultimate advantage yet for Fnatic to truly snowball this second point.
Right. Cox getting some early damage down, and I mean, that's the benefit of having a DPS player play the Ana, is you can hit those shots.
Dodging out of the way of some of that soldier damage.
Yep, that's right. Sleep Dart just randomly thrown in there. Sometimes you can get a Reinhardt as he's throwing in the Fire Strike or something.
Sneaky High Noon may be incoming to catch them and push them out of position. Tac Visor finally up for Buds. They were poking to get as many ultimates up as they could, and that's the time for the hit the go button, Doa.
Yep, that's right. Time to pull the trigger. Buds with the Nano Visor is in trouble, though. And Stitch trying to defend here. There's a Deadeye. Runaway back away. Oh, nice hook by Stitch. Half a cool. Dead.
Yeah, the flank.
And that's that.
The flank from Stitch changing the outcome of that battle, because even though they got Hoxall down early, the trades even and therefore in favor of that defending team. Stu couldn't find an opportunity to actually use the Earth Shatter.
So not even the first point taken by Fnatic yet. They've got plenty of time, though. They've got 5 minutes.
Onto the Tracer now. Definitely a curious choice, because the McCree would have been effective in trying to deal with the Genji. Instead, they want to play a bit more aggressively. Buds on the Diva at the moment.
All right, half a cool. Just going after the supports now, going after Cox. He jumps on Cox. And Cox is on the run. Gets the health pack, though. Hafacool in trouble now. Ooh, 8 health remaining. Trying to fight it out, and he might lose this duel. Hafacool down to just 28 health now. Got a little bit back from the recall. What a duel, and Cox takes him down.
And that's what we talk about with Fnatic. These are the duels and the 1v1s that they just can't win consistently.
Man.
And so even if they have a good flank setup, at the end of the day, part of the game of Overwatch is being able to consistently get the man advantage, to be able to get the kills with the flank. The idea is there, but the execution on a player-by-player level is off, even if the execution as an entire team is close to or on point.
I think it'd be tough to stay on this Tracer after losing that duel, but Hafacool's going to stick with it for now. 98%, got the Pulse Bomb, gets hooked though. Ooh, saved by the Diva though. Bumper coming in now for the other side. Hoxall pulls out the Dragon Blade, takes on both supports like you do. Gets low, but he's going to survive here. Oh yeah, why not finish off Hafacool for good measure? Sure, you could do that.
Yeah, they're also just going to toy with the Diva at the moment. They're blocking her shots to make sure she's not even going to have a chance to get her mech back.
I like the charge kill. Yeah, that was classy.
Yeah, this is looking not so great for Fnatic. They haven't built up a substantial ult advantage really at any point in time.
I mean, they've got one now.
They've got one now, so that's what they need to operate on. Are they going to wait for Vonathil, maybe take a little bit of poke damage, try and get him closer towards the sound barrier?
All right. Cool Matt getting his shield back. And they're going to send in the self-destruct. Fnatic's going to follow up. No kills from that. No, he did. He got Cox. Cox somehow got caught by that self-destruct. And Fnatic, this is their opportunity. They're going to go at Nano Boost Cool Matt with that whole hog. Kills coming in. Stitch did go down, and Fnatic actually building the control percent here a bit.
Yeah, brute forcing that one with all of their ultimates, making no bones about it. That time we don't see Fnatic try and take that flank. They just bum rush the point with a huge ult edge, and that's going to be Vonathil caught out, and Hoxall is starting to go crazy now. Gets 2 kills, and he's nearly got the Dragon Blade.
Yeah, Stitch managed to get the hook onto Hafacool as well, so it looks like Runaway is going to be able to defend this one after all. Fnatic, looks like they're going to have to come away with not even that first tick.
Wow, Hoxall actually gets sniped out by Custa there, damage over time. getting the kill, but Custa
just wants to die.
He's in the middle of everybody right now. Custa, baby, you've actually gone too far and split spawned yourself.
Oh, that is rough for Fnatic. Oh no, Fnatic actually coming back in again. And they're going to lose more people. There goes Coolmat. Suddenly, this is a hugely staggered split spawn for Fnatic. That is disastrous.
They lost so much time instead of trying to get out efficiently or throw themselves off the edge, going for some greedy kills. And Fnatic seems to have completely lost their heads in this match. They are making a lot of pretty poor mistakes.
I mean, I think with Cox winning that duel against Hafacool, he gave him a one-way ticket to Tilt City. Self-destruct. Not finding any kills. Fnatic does avoid that. Are you kidding me? Hafacool got hooked by Stitch again. Fnatic, they're going to try to salvage it though. They drop the sound barrier, they go after Hawksall, they do get that kill. Stitch though with another pick onto Custa. We haven't been seeing it on screen, but Stitch has just been landing hook after hook. Hey, well,
there's
we go.
another one.
All right, yeah.
You ask and you shall receive,
That's right.
Doa.
I guess so.
And guess what? It's time to wait on the D.Va again. And that will tick off more time from the clock. Fnatic going to be coming in with 3 ults and not really hope for any more than that. Meanwhile, Runaway, they've nearly managed to charge the sound barrier again. That could be a big turn on this final incoming fight of the game. Fnatic must make this push successful if they want to get that 2 point.
Coolman had to dodge off the elevator, so they had to kind of scrap that whole engage. Had to reset quickly at the door. Coolman does have the whole hog to use if he needs it. Fnatic trying to push up the middle, and we're down to just 10 seconds. Hafacool with the pulse bomb. He's got the nano boost. The sound barrier though, providing a lot of challenge for him though. And now Stitch with another hook, man. Coolman pulls out the whole hog, but Fnatic already has lost way too many people here. There's the overtime. And Runaway holds Fnatic to just 1 point on what could be the last map of the group stage.
Runaway setting themselves up for what is almost certainly going to be at least a sudden death. They would have to be full held not to even force that objective. And just like in our last best of 5 Doa, the sudden death on a single control point is pretty heavily favoring the Korean side in Runaway.
Yeah. I would say so. Well, what can you do? Fnatic looking for the full hold. See if they can pull it off, but full holds are pretty difficult to get on Volskaya, so at the very least, I would expect we're going to go to that tiebreaker, but...
Yeah, they are rare.
Yeah.
And Fnatic, we'll see how they're going to defend this. Looks like it's shaping up with a Tracer and triple tank, which is what they used on their attack on point B, to not a great deal of success, and they don't have a big bang combo. Instead, Hafacool going for the D.Va just so they have some mobility over the upper platforms. Runaway. Looks like they may go with the 2-2-2 and have that Zenyatta to dive that back line with Hawksall. Create some quick early picks.
Yep. Well, dire straits for Fnatic, and for most of the global teams except for Envious. They might very well be the only non-Korean team to make it through to the round of 8.
That's tough. They weren't even in the same groups to knock each other out, so dominance by the Korean teams has been pretty complete. Obviously, though, you look at Misfits, and they probably would have made it out of any other group. I think it's fair to say.
I agree. I think there is that. C9 certainly looked a lot better today against Konduncia too. So.
Unfortunately, though, Doa, C9 didn't look great against Africa Blue.
Exactly.
They were definitely in control of their own destiny, and given even a second chance by Kalmbach Spirit in their win over Africa Blue, so I don't think you can really complain about C9.
Yep. Stitch just doing some damage to Hafacool early on. Being annoying to force that D.Va away. Coolmat looking for picks, but ooh, he's getting
shot in the butt.
Hit pretty hard. Bonathil nearly picked off by Stitch there. And, you know, it's another situation that's just like Hollywood, where Fnatic doesn't appear to have a way to deal with this Widowmaker.
And they have a D.Va. That's who they has to go up there. And there you go.
All right.
Target selection there. D.Va has to come through. He's the one who deals with Stitch. Coolmat on the flank.
All right, so they do hold for now.
Yeah, they got the early picks on the rest of the team, and therefore, if you're taking cover in the control room on the upper floor and getting picks there. You don't have to worry about that Widowmaker sniping you, and you can just turn around and clean her up after you have a few man advantage.
Yep.
Yeah, Stitch gonna switch to the Tracer. I think this is a lot smarter. It wasn't gonna work this time. There's too much cover.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with trying that, but identifying that it's not working out. They can swap that may do it. Control meter building now. Bonithil very low. Ooh, Stitch went for the melee, but didn't land it. Very close, though.
And Bud's getting low as well. Charge going to actually pick up the initial kill, so 2 for Fnatic.
Yeah, good start for Fnatic in this fight. Really good start. Oxall waiting for it. Still doesn't have that Dragon Blade quite yet. Takes out Stoop. He might just go one-man army here. Oh, health pack was taken, though, by Buds.
Yeah, this is getting closer to a full hold now for Fnatic.
Yeah, 2 minutes remaining, but now Oxall has that Dragon Blade. So we'll see what Runaway can put together in their next attack. They're going to have Pulse Bomb. They're going to have Nano Blade. Might have Sound Barrier.
Man,
they're just taking the point right now. I guess Fnatic just kind of backing off.
They're going to re-engage, just making sure that they didn't take too much damage while everybody reformed in their formation on the side of Fnatic. But Stoop actually going to eat it from not even, well, from the Pulse Bomb.
This is a pretty big problem. If they take it without dedicating many ultimates to it, Fnatic is big trouble. Nano Boost comes in. Oxall may have to pull out the Dragon Blade, avoiding that self-destruct for the moment. No kills coming from that. Kaiser did take down Coolmat. So Runaway still sitting on the point, still trying to build that control meter. Bonithil jumps down. It's the support and defense again. That does not last long generally.
Oxall lasting a while here, but the Hoxall duel still incoming, and eventually
that's that.
We'll see his doom.
Wow, and Runaway did not have to use very many ults to make that happen.
Oh boy, they did not. They used the Nano Blade onto Kaiser, but they maintained, or the Nano Boost, they maintained the Dragon Blade.
Oh,
and here we go.
Yeah, Hoxall pulls out the Dragon Blade. He's going for it. Bonithil goes down. Ooh, Runaway winning a very convincing team fight so far. Coolman on the side with that whole hog, but not getting a lot accomplished. Already 1 tick on the control meter. Still building. They've got to deal with the respawns now. Fnatic fighting for their lives. Hoxall with the kill though onto Buds. Kaiser with a big earth shatter. Bonithil in big trouble. There he goes. And meanwhile, Stoop alone on the point. Costa alone on the point. And that may be it. Winston jumping in. Coolmat just trying to save it as much as he can. He gets taken down, and Runaway will win it 3-0 and punch their ticket to the playoffs.
Wow, convincing. That's all you can say about Runaway.
Yes.
Very convincing versus Fnatic. They came in making roster swaps, and they made it look easy. Fnatic had their opportunity here. Win tonight, they go to the quarterfinals, but it's a rough loss instead, and now Envy is the last foreign team left in this tournament. 7 teams in the top 8 are Korean. 1 is mostly European, but with little Thai flavor in there as well.
I think you mean North American.
I do not mean North American.
Definitely in
there are
team.
0 North American players on that team, Doa.
Well, Runaway just looking like, yeah, that's just what we did. 3-0. And I got to say, we had a lot of questions coming into this one about Runaway because they made those big roster changes. Koma looked great at support, as we knew he probably would. Cox, great on the Ana, actually.
It's just amazing to me. Fnatic, tactically, they know what to do. They make smart hero swaps, but they don't have a player who can rise to the occasion, that can be that carry that they so desperately need, and it was pretty painfully evident that that was the case in this particular match.
Seems that way. So in the end, Runaway will move on to the round of 8, and I think we've got a lot to look forward to from these guys.
Absolutely.
And certainly for them as an organization, a big step up. Hoxall, of course, was the kind of premier player on this team last season, but now we see, I think, the formation of a